We've all read, unless we live under a rock, about the things going on across the country. And most of us here are activists, and therefore probably watch a fair amount of TV, even more so probably cable. And if you've done that, you've seen the situation across the country. Difficult situations, confusing situations. And they've happened everywhere, including Florida and including Broward. But for us to understand, this tonight is not about the Democratic Party. It is not. It's also not about the Republican Party. It's in effect about the Broward Party. It's about Broward as a community. Not one political entity or the other, but as a community. A political party cannot be judged long-term by how many races it wins or loses. We are very blessed here in Broward, being a Democratic county, that we win most of the time. And that's great, and that's important, because it's about philosophy, a shared common philosophy. But we can't be measured by that yardstick long term. Any political party, especially a county party, can only be measured by how they are a part of the greater community. Because we've talked about it before here, for those who are regulars, that we as a party must stand for something other than elections. Because if we don't stand for something, we stand for nothing. That's what this meeting is about. This is about talking about Broward as a community entity. We've talked about recent events, and we also have some level of sophistication, realize there's good and bad with every organization, there's good and bad with every group. Nobody's perfect. God knows I'm not, and for those who know me. And frankly, I'm not sure anybody is. But we have to go from that point and realize that Broward must come together. Not only over this issue, but set a template so that when other issues come about, there is a process that exists. I will share with you quite honestly that there were those who asked me not to have this forum. And there were a number of people who quietly came to me and said, do not have this discussion. It is too risky. It is not good for the Democratic Party. Well, guess what? Look around. Look at the size of the audience. Look at the turnout. Look at the folks who are here. Look at the press that's here. And you understand why I said no and why the Democratic Party must stand for something. As a community, we sometimes are pretty good, sometimes, at talking the talk. But we have to make sure what we begin today is walking the walk. We must talk the talk, but it must be followed up. It must be followed up so we avoid the pitfalls that the rest of the nation seems to be enduring. We all want Broward to avoid those pitfalls, but that will only come with community discussion and community action. One must follow the other. Discussion is not enough. Eventually, there must be action. But to do that is not an easy process. This is the first process. This is the beginning. And hopefully this will not be the last forum of its kind across this county. I certainly hope not, as I think all of you do. But to make this process work, we have to invite and be inclusive, not exclusive, inclusive. And to do that, we have to take the step of perhaps including people that we may not like or want. But we must do that because the only way for us to succeed is to have everybody at the table. Not one group, not the other, all groups to be inclusive. No other way will work. Now, I have to tell you, I think it's imperative that most of us here, if not all of us, frankly, probably agree on most things. I would say that of the panelists here, and that's why I'm so grateful they're here as well, because they're willing to have these discussions and stick their neck out and be part of the process of working and putting things together. But most of us here, if not all of us, agree that we really don't care if someone's black or white. We don't care if they're male or female. We don't care if they're young or old. We don't care if they're rich or poor. We don't care if they're overeducated or undereducated. And we certainly don't care if they walked into this meeting, wheeled into this meeting, or were carried into this meeting. Everybody has diversity, everybody has equality, everybody has equal value, and that is the reason for this community meeting. That is the reason why. We have to understand from this forum over that we need to invest in each other. And by investing in each other in this type of exploratory situation, frankly, that will better help us come together, flesh out the good ideas together, and join together in solutions that make sense for everybody. But only that happens by investing in each other. That, again, is our goal. This will be a respectful discussion, a straightforward discussion, and I thank you so much for being here.